All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator and our power, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord, our Savior, and our Deliverer, the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai, called Halayamla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodas. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. And salutations, peace, blessings, and safety unto the hopeful elect out there. This lesson will be entitled, Enjoy It While It Lasts, Esaw. Enjoy it while it lasts. All right, and this is from all the way to the top, to the so-called elites, you know, the upper echelon, you know, the so-called Illuminati, those who are actually, you know, behind closed doors, running the show, all the way down to your everyday, your average Joe Edomite, man. And the Edomites are the so-called white men, okay? The so-called white, the self-proclaimed white race. All right, all of you, enjoy it. Enjoy this kingdom as it's yours while it lasts, because it's coming to an end, man. All right, as a matter of fact, I'll start off with this. All right, because we witnessing this. 2nd Esdras 6 and 9, one of my favorite scriptures. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, which tells you specifically that once this kingdom, which we are in Esau's kingdom, okay, we have been for some time now. Esau has been in rulership for some time now, okay, and every kingdom has an end. There's no kingdom other than the kingdom of heaven that's going to be ruled first and foremost by Yahweh Shai. There's no other kingdom that has ever ruled or been established on this earth that has ever lasted forever, but the kingdom of heaven will be, which is also, you know, the kingdom of the Israelites, okay? But Esau's kingdom, right? It says, for Esau is the end of the world, which means the word, when you go into that word world, it means an age, all right? The Greek word is eon, okay? So there's a time limit, there's a time period in which every kingdom is established to rule, and we reaching the end of this kingdom, man. Excuse me. Now there's, you know, speculation in the world where they say the average time a kingdom, you know, when you look at the different kingdoms that have ruled, the average time those kingdoms lasted was 250 years. Now we don't know exactly how long this kingdom is going to rule down to the very year, but we understand, based off of the events happening in the earth, right, the signs that the Lord is showing us, we understand that we're reaching that limit. Okay, as it is written, the Most High have appointed Esau bounds that he cannot pass. Okay, and part of those bounds is his rulership. Okay, and everything that he does within his rulership. But yeah, we reaching that time, man. We reaching the beginning of the kingdom of heaven and the end of the kingdom of Esau. All right, and it's a beautiful thing to be alive to witness. All right, but pretty much this lesson was inspired by this nonsense, right? I'm gonna show the clip. I mean the video. I mean the picture. So this is a picture. All right. It's probably backwards on the actual camera. I don't know why I do that. But what it says is MAGAs, right? Those people who those pretty much Trump supporters are visiting the Florida concentration camp, which is Alligator Alcatraz, and lining up to take selfies with the signs. And on the bottom it says, these are the people whose parents and grandparents posed for pictures at lynchings. Now, if you understand the scriptures, if you understand reincarnation, you would understand that these people are those people that was during the time of slavery. Okay, when you had different, you know, for them it was an event, right? When you had different public lynchings, and you know, it wasn't only lynchings alone. We talking about all of the terrible things that Esau would do to the Israelites, man, specifically the Southern Kingdom during the time of slavery. You know, they would do these things publicly, man, and make it as a spectacle so all people can see. And when these things was being done, you know, you had their people taking pictures. It was something to glory in. It was something that they found joyful. You know, it brought them joy. The little kids was laughing as if it was just some some game or some carnival or something that they was going to. Okay, so yeah, these are the same people whose grandparents, was the ones that was, smiling and laughing and taking selfies during these places, or excuse me, during these lynchings and different events, man. But when you go deeper into it, these are those people. Okay, when you see them, pictures of them little girls, that was standing by a black man hanging from a tree. When you see Jake was on fire, either half dead or damn already dead, burning, and you see your little young Jake, or excuse me, your little young Edomite sitting there posing, just like they do when they catch, they call it game. When they go hunting and they catch these big animals, these trophies, so-called trophy animals, and they sit there and they pose with the dead body of the animals. That's what they was doing with Jake. They was posing alongside the dead bodies of Israelites. Okay, and them going and taking pictures next to these signs, you may say, oh well, that's not the same because there's no dead bodies, or there's no actual people there who are being oppressed. It's the act itself. Okay, these Edomites finding joy in the oppression, in the downfall of our people. These are the same people. Okay, nobody's crying out for Israel during their oppression, during them being persecuted. Right, but these Edomites are the same ones, man, because they back. All right, so hey, live it up, man. Enjoy it. Go take your pictures. Go take some shots while you there standing next to the picture. Toast it up, drink your mimosas, smoke your meth. Pop your pills, do your opioids. Live it up, man. Like Elder Malcolm will always say, man, live it up, all of you, from the least of you to the greatest of you, because your time is running up. All right, the last few grains in the hourglass is falling upon your kingdom, man. I'm gonna get this, Psalm 73:8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Okay, and you can just see the pride, the pomp within them, within their face, man. You got one Edomite dude, he's standing next to the sign with a fist up like this, as if to mock black people. Because a lot of black people, they always, now it could be some kind of symbolism within some kind of organization that he's in, that whole white supremacist shit. But I look at it as he's mocking. It look like a symbol of mockery, the way he's doing this. Okay, because if you think about it, our people, when they was in the time of slavery, again, specifically the Southern Kingdom, it was a thing where they used to feed our babies to alligators, man, and they would use our Israelite children as alligator bait for them to hunt alligators. Okay, so that's why I said that looks like a sign of mockery and reproach. But it's okay, it's all good, because we understand, why, why they are the way that they are, because hey, the Most High made them that way, and all we seeing is their nature. All we seeing is them showing that perpetual hatred that they've always had. We don't expect them to fight on our behalf or to feel sympathy or empathy for us. We expect them to do exactly what they're doing, and to have that so-called black fatigue and Mexican fatigue, Latino fatigue, whatever the shit that they coming up with and saying. We understand where they stand, right? We know that they want to do it. Excuse me. We understand that they want to do away with us, man. They don't want to see us here. All right. It says they speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily, right, which is proudly. All right, and again, nobody's crying out for us. Nobody's sympathizing with the Northern Kingdom, which we ain't either, right? But the whole point is, we understand that this is judgment for our people. They looking at it from a point of, all good, them no good niggas, them no good wetbacks. We understand, man. Zechariah 11 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay, and who is our possessors to this very day? Esau. We are in the hand of Esau right now. To this day, we are in captivity, man. We don't own anything. Even when you first born and you get that birth certificate, that social security card, that's an account. That's like a tag that you put on a product at the store. That's how they look at us, man. They look at us as a product, as something that they have possession over. Okay, we're looked at as an item. All right, and it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And that goes for all of them Edomites, right? They say, yeah, well, my grandfather or my great grandfather was a slave owner, but that wasn't me. I'm not benefiting from it. You know, I wasn't there. You know, so why do I owe you an apology? I didn't do it. You know, they like to say stuff like that, but you are benefiting from it and have benefited from it. All right, you have what's called white privilege, which is really Edomite privilege. Okay, you've benefited off of the oppression of our people for many generations, man. And to this day, your grandsons, your granddaughters, they're benefiting from the oppression of our people. All right. And you know, hey, the Most High is not gonna at all acquit the wicked. All right. Yeah, you know, how's it go? Prepare slaughter. Or matter of fact, it says let me get this real quick. Yep, Isaiah 14 and verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. And this is talking about Esau specifically, right? The Edomites. All right, the people of the Most High's cursed to judgment. The people whom the Lord hates, the Edomites, the so-called white man. All right, prepare slaughter for their children, for the iniquity of their fathers, which is talking about their ancestors, their forefathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. It says, I will rise up against them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, right, which is all of their posterity, all of the seed, right, which brings forth their nation, right? A nation is born through a man. Okay, so if you cut off the men from a particular nation, you cut off that nation altogether. Because you can take an Edomite woman or a Moabite woman or a Japhetic woman, any type of woman from any nation, and you know, put a Israelite seed within that woman. An Israelite child is going to come forth every time. The same way you do any nation, right? If you take an Edomite man and put his seed within any nation of women, that Edomite man or that Edomite child is going to always come forth. Okay, so if you cut off, which this is a prophecy, man. This is what's going to happen to Esau eventually. All right, all of his nation is going to be cut off. All right, and that's what's going to be pleasing to the Most High. That's your outcome. Again, it says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. All right. So, yeah, you're going to be punished for what your forefathers did, which is ultimately your own punishment. Because as the scriptures speak about, you know, that judgment comes every, matter of fact, I'll grab it. Yep, Numbers 14 and 18. It said, the Lord Yahweh is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty. Right? Because this is how judgment works. Right? Sometimes you don't get judged in the same lifetime for something that you do. Sometimes you got to wait for your punishment. Right? It says, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So that proves that there's such thing as you can say regeneration too, right? But reincarnation is the word that I'm using. Okay, once you're reborn, because you never seen a great grandfather alive at the same time as his great grandson. All right, after a certain period of time, once that great grandfather dies, then that child can be born. Okay, and it's not saying as soon as that great grandfather dies, whatever child is born right away is that person. That's not what it's saying. It's gonna be some time that go by, okay, before that child is born, man. Because when your spirit goes up to the back to the Father from which it came, there's a period of rest that you have. You're not gonna come right back down immediately. So that's why it's to the third or fourth generation. Okay. So these Edomites that are having so much enjoyment and so much entertainment with seeing the things that's happening to our people. These are the same people that stood by when we was in a time of slavery. When we was being oppressed by Esau in another generation. Okay. So let me go from there. And like I said, they hold themselves not guilty. Then they don't think they hold any kind of blame for what we have going on. And even those Edomites that didn't necessarily lynch anybody themselves, they was attending those lynching parties, and they was out there in them streets, taking shots and drinking and then having a barbecue and having a picnic. Even that word picnic itself comes from the oppression of our people, the murder of our people. When they would bury Jake, that's where I believe that's where I'm not sure if it's picnic, or I think it is picnic, when they would bury Jake up to their neck, and then see how hard they can kick an Israelite man and until his head pops off. All right, which picnic is short for like pick a nigger. But Esau is so wicked, man, and we only know a very small portion of everything that he's done, man. Everything gonna come full circle. The Lord is gonna reveal to us everything that he's did, man. But in the time when the Lord revealed it to us, it's gonna be in the time when we able to execute that vengeance, man. And the Lord gonna raise us up, and we gonna be able to, like it says, let me see. Right, because we coming into this day, man. Of course, we gotta, we have to go through a time of trouble first, but this is the end of Esau. Ezekiel 7 and 8. Nope. Actually, it's Ezekiel 25 and verse 14. It says, "And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom." So that tells you that the Most High don't feel the same way about Esau than he do about the Israelites. Even though Israel is being punished right now, and we in a very low state, right? We're in a time of we're in a time of scourging for our people, right? And even though the Most High is using Esau to give that punishment to us and to push that point, right? They still not gonna get away, man, because they went above and beyond, like it says, man. When the time of their iniquity had an end, they held their anger and their wrath forever. All right, they did not hate blood. Right, it says, "And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel." So again, the Lord gonna turn the tables. He's gonna put our curses that's upon us right now. He's gonna put it on Esau. All right, and the state that he's in right now, we're gonna get, but it's gonna be much better than where he at right now. And our low, his low is gonna be much worse than our low. All right, because we his chosen people. It says, "And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury." So that tells you the Most High has something, a personal hatred, a personal ought with Esau. So everything that we do is gonna have to be put in us to do, man. Because us being in this flesh, we can't be angry enough to recompense this man for his evil deeds against us. Yeah, we can be mad, we can express our hatred and our disdain for Esau, but the way that the Most High looks at this man as a nation is far much worse. Okay, and our bodies wouldn't even be able to our current bodies wouldn't be able to retain the anger that the Lord has for Esau. So we're going to have to be put in worthy bodies to be able to hold that anger and to execute the punishment that's due and that's just for him. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yep, that's what's coming to Esau. And again, we only know a very small portion of the things that this man has done, man. And the shit that he doing right now. All right. Let me go on. Lamentations 2:15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. And this is what's been going on for the longest, and this is what's going on today. Okay? And it says all that pass by, which represents all the different nations, man. Okay, these other nations, they see what's going on, right? The Arabs, they see what's going on with Jake. The Edomites, they see what's going on with Jake. These East Indians, the Chinese, all of these other heathen nations, they see, because it's not hard. All you got to do is go on the internet. For those who don't actually live in America and able to see firsthand the conditions that our people are in and the way that we be treated, the way that we're shunned and we're held back, we're oppressed. If they ain't able to see it firsthand, you still can be able to see it on the internet and on TV, man. Because Esau, he boasts in the way that he treats us. He boasts in the conditions of our people. The most popular movies and TV shows is ones that reflect and show the conditions that Jake live in. You know, movies like Boys in the Hood, you know, Friday, and you know, when our people are being perceived on the screen in an ignorant, low, you know, just destitute state, that's when it gets the most views. People love, you know, you got what's called slumming, where you got Edomites that drive through the roughest, you know, dirtiest, most rugged parts of the hood just to show the conditions that our people is living in, and they go upload them videos and they get paid just off of our conditions, man. And that's like the surface level of what they do to benefit from our oppression, man. Just by recording and showing the conditions that our people is in, they able to make money and benefit off of that. Is that not evil? And that's an example of them passing by us, clapping their hands, right? They looking at us, they see what's going on, and they like, hey, well, it ain't me. Nobody has no empathy for our people in the condition that they in. It says saying, matter of fact, let me see. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. You know, they look down on us. They like, look at them. Look at these niggas, man. Just matter of fact, which, you know, I believe it is relevant, but I was doing a delivery maybe a week ago, and so the particular neighborhood that I was going to, I didn't have the gate code for it, so I had to wait for somebody to come and, you know, let me in the gate. So this Moabite came up, and when he was driving past, he looked into my car, and he was just staring at me. You know, he was just looking real hard. And when he seen that I was a so-called black man, he was like, he didn't say nothing to me, but the look that he gave and the way that, like, his body language and everything, I can just tell he was like, oh no, I ain't opening the gate for this nigga. He looked at me because I guess he was trying to see who's trying to get let in the gate, and he just looked at me and was like, you know, and then he straightened up and then he sped off and then he busted a U-turn and kept going. I guess in his mind he was like, I'll wait till he leave and I'll come back. You know, somebody ended up coming like 10 seconds later to let me in, but just that whole point of how our people are seen, you know, it's not a secret, man. Now, our people are in a low condition, and our people is very wicked, man. But nobody is reminding us, like, yeah, y'all the children of the Most High. Why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all acting like that? Nobody's, you know, we try to remind our people, and they don't want to hear us. They will hear a heathen before they would hear a fellow Israelite trying to tell them, like, look, man, we the chosen people of the Most High. You know, we ain't like this. This is not how the Most High set us up to be. We supposed to be an example to these other nations. Why are we killing each other? Why are we hating each other? Why are we coveting one another? And you know, why are we stealing from them? Why are we treating each other like this? Why we have so much hatred towards one another? Nobody's coming and reminding us, like, look, we know who y'all are. We know y'all forgot who y'all was. and y'all lost y'all way. But listen, look, this is who y'all are. None of these other nations is coming and reminding us this. And also, they don't turn down any kind of benefits that come with our oppression. Anything that they can get from us being in the lower state that we in, they capitalize on that shit. For example, on most of these liquor stores that's in the hood, who working there behind them counters, man? Who owns the stores? Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, or if it ain't them, it's Moab. If it ain't Moab, it's Elam. They the ones behind these liquor stores, because they know Jake is the ones that's abusing this shit the most. They the ones that getting drunk every day, and they got regulars. Jake that's regulars, and they come in there and they spend all their money. They last a little bit on fucking cigarettes and 40s and the shit that ain't profitable for them. The ones that own these damn smoke shops and these fast food restaurants selling food that ain't nowhere near good for you. Yeah, man, that's the heathen capitalizing off of the oppression of our people. They're not telling us who we are or who we, how we should be acting. Let me continue. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? And who is the main one doing that? Esau. And one thing, it's like, you grow up, like me particularly, I grew up in a state that's, it has a lot of racist Edomites, man. A lot of, shamelessly racist Edomites. I say that because all of them, ultimately, they don't like Jake. But I'm talking about the ones that's blatant with it. Like the state of Ohio, that's one of them states, man. Just like it's really similar to the South. Even though, it's in the Midwest, it's similar to the South in how a lot of them southern Edomites feel about Jake, man. Them sundown town type Edomites, man. Yeah, Ohio is like that. But yeah, man, when you grow up, in that type of environment, you kind of become numb to it. You see it, you exposed to it, but it's like, it's just like, okay, whatever. But a lot of these Edomites, it's what they started doing recently, like on the internet, on YouTube, on social media, Instagram. You will see a certain video of something dealing with Jake, whether they looting the store or somebody getting shot, some kind of fight, some kind of folly going on involving Jake, and they'll comment under the video, oh, usual suspects. Oh, how did I know who it was? Shit like that. And it's like, when that's part of us having that proverb and that byword against us being under the curses, man, us being looked at in a low condition, because we are in a low condition. But them, they have nerve, because when you think about even the violent aspect of it, the most violent race of people is Edomites, and that's a fact, man. That's a real statistic. All right, but they look down on our people talking about usual suspect. Well, who is the usual suspects that's committing crimes throughout the whole earth, man? We ain't talking about petty crimes and looting and burglary and shit like that. Who's committing world crimes, war crimes and shit like that? We ain't talking about low level shit. We talking about stuff that affects the whole earth. Who's the ones behind that? Talk about usual suspects. But again, Esau, your time is coming, man. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna continue to reap the benefits of our oppression. You're gonna add to the oppression, because that's what you was made to do. But your time is up, though. All right, let me continue on. It says, verse 16, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. And all of our enemies is mentioned in Psalms 83, man. All right, all of these other nations are considered our enemies, but our chief enemy is the so-called white man, the Edomites. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. Right? So yeah, this is, not only do they not, step in on our behalf and defend us, they love it. They find joy in us being how we are. When we calling on the name of these other guys, they love it, man. When we out here killing each other, and our women is in the lowest state, they're whores, and they just, they're filthy, they loud, they have no kind of respect for themselves. They love it. Even though they hate to be around our people, they hate, having to even walk in the same building as our people. They love to see us in this state that we in, man. Okay. Continuing on, it says, the Lord have done that which he had devised. He had fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old, which is ultimately going back to the curses. All right. Hey, the Lord said, to the law, rather. And the Lord said if we would be obedient, if we would listen to him, and we would, pretty much live by those words written in the law, to do them, we would prosper. We would be established. We would, nobody would be able to come up against us, and we would, we would flourish. But if not, hey, you would be trodden down. You would be, your heritage would be stripped from you. You would pretty much you would be lost. And that's the state that our people is in. The Most High just kept his word. All right. It says, he have thrown down and have not pitied, and he have caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He have set up the horn of thine adversaries. Right. The Lord gave them the power that they have over us, because when we think about the one that's at the top, Esaw, he's considered the basis of men, of all these other nations, right? The Most High looks at all these other nations as insignificant, as less than, that of dust on a scale. All right. But for Esaw to be considered the basis of men, he's at the bottom of the totem pole. But the Lord got him right now at the top of the totem pole, and us at the bottom. And it's because of his power that's able to, that they're able to be in that position. All right. It's because we moved the Most High to wrath. We became disobedient and rebellious, and we went astray from the Most High. So the Lord took his name off of us. He took his hedge, when with his name came that hedge and protection, being provided for. So that's why we the last hired, the last fired. We the ones getting shot down in the streets. We the ones that hate each other. Our relationships, our marriages don't last. They don't work. We have the most diseases. We have the most disrespect amongst our men. So on and so forth. You can go on and on and on, because that's the other side of the law, man. Of if we wouldn't keep these things, the Lord is going to take away our might. All right. So this is why you ain't able to your woman ain't able to pair bond, because she didn't have so many damn partners, and she's not able to be loyal to you. This is why your children are growing up to be either monsters or homosexuals or just reprobates. You got Jake is just into all kind of weird shit, man. This is why things is the way that it is, man. Because our protection and our hedge, that name got taken off of us. Okay? And these other nations, they see it. They understand. As long as we obedient to the Most High, who's our God, the Lord is going to take care of us. And they understand that when we're being taken care of, and when the Most High is dealing with us and he's pleased with us, that's their ass. Okay? When we on top, everybody else is on the bottom. But when we on the bottom, anybody else got a chance to come up and be on top. But right now, we understand Esau is on top, right? Esau is at the he's in his kingdom, and his kingdom is our hell, just like our kingdom is gonna be his hell. All right. Micah 7:8, it says, "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord Yahweh shall be a light unto me." Yeah. So pretty much Micah is saying, hey, don't get too comfortable. Don't count me out, because I'm in a lower state right now, which I'm gonna continue on. Right, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. Yeah, until he have mercy on me and his wrath is turned away. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness, because we know the Most High is a power of his word, and he said he would not altogether do away with the house of Israel, man. So yeah, though we get punished, we're not being consumed. We're not being done away with. Though we're being chastised, and though we're being, pretty much we are being repaid for the evil that we've done. We're not being trodden down. We're not being completely taken out. as these other nations think we are. They think because we've been down for so long and we've been as low as we've been, that it's just over for us. No, the Most High is going to eventually have mercy on us as his chosen people, his children. All right, and he's going to take away this captivity. He's going to turn away the captivity of Israel, and this captivity is going to be placed on everybody else that's been living it up, man. And it's going to begin with Esau. But these other nations, they ain't exempt either. But we talking about Esau right now, right? So, yeah, Micah was saying, like, hey, just because I'm down right now, hey, I understand why I'm down. I did wrong. I'm being punished for the evil that I've done. Okay, and then, until the Lord has mercy on me and pretty much removes his hand from from scourging me, then hey, enjoy it. And that's what this is about, man. Esau, you just gotta live it up, man. Let me get a couple more. Let me see. Yeah, Proverbs 17:5. It says, "Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker." And he that is who is the poor right now? The Israelites. And the Israelites have always represented the poor, man. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker. All right. And he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. All right. So that's a message to you. All of you Edomites that was out there, that's probably visiting right now as we speak. You ones that you probably didn't post your picture of yet, but you just have your pictures in your photo album just for memory's sake. All of you, the one, even you Edomites that you didn't travel down there yourself, but when you seen these Edomites post them pictures and you just had a good laugh and you was just commenting the laughing emoji, you was just finding joy in this. Yeah, you got your number too. All right. Revelation 18:5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Yeah, just like Esau, he think, as it says in what is that, Psalms 10. The Most High have forgotten; he will never see it. They think the Most High is not going to reward them for the evil that they've done. They think the Lord is just asleep; he's just laying down, letting this shit happen. Well, he is letting it happen, but he's letting it happen so you can build up your case. He's letting your iniquities pile up. So when he brings what he gonna bring, it's gonna be completely justified, right? Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. So this is your outcome. The Most High is gonna reward you for the things that you've done, but you're gonna get a double portion. So it's gonna be extra bad, man, because it's not like we're gonna be able to execute that vengeance in these bodies. No, the Most High is gonna allow that vengeance to be executed while we in the kingdom of heaven, when we in perfect bodies that are extraterrestrial, that have extra power, that's unable to die, unable to diminish in any kind of way. And we're going to have a special kind of strength to perform the vengeance of the Lord upon you, man. So that double is really more than double that portion, man. But as it is written, it's going to be a double portion, man. It says, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. Right? Yeah, all of the oppression you implemented on our people. All of the the peacefulness that you didn't have. Yeah, that's gonna be turned around, and you're gonna receive the opposite. It says, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right? As it is written, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. And I believe it said their children to many generations. Yeah, but Esau, he just think he gonna be in power forever, man. That's why they trying to fight so hard to save America, man, because they don't want that glory that America once held to go away. They don't want this place to end or cease from being the land of milk and honey. They don't want to experience the same thing that these other nations have to experience with the third world conditions, man. They want to keep this place liberal and do as thou will. This is the place where you can make money and you can do whatever you want to do. They want to keep this place for what it was known for. But you're gonna reap, man. Let me get one more. Isaiah 14. Well, I already read it. Yeah, I already read Isaiah 14, but yeah, that's pretty much the point. Matter of fact, let me get this. Yeah, because we gonna you know, when the tables is turned and Esau, you're placed in chains and fetters of iron, yeah, we gonna enjoy it too, man. It ain't gonna be the same way, you know. We ain't gonna have cell phones, taking selfies and all of that, but we gonna make sure we remember when your ass is in captivity. Let me get this last one. Isaiah 14, but up in verse 2. It says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their own place, and to the house of Israel, and the house of Israel shall possess them," talking about Esau, the Edomites, okay, shall possess them, which is, is really talking about all these other nations, because they all had their hand in their time of being over us, but especially the Edomites, right? And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay, and whoever is in that boat of being an oppressor to Jake, yeah, that's talking about you. You're gonna be of that number that's gonna be brought low, and you're gonna have all these nations. We're gonna be ruling over them with a rod of iron, man. Okay, but yeah, it went a little longer than I wanted it to, but I just wanted to do a quick video on that whole situation with these Edomites posing, taking pictures, just loving, just enjoying it. This oppression that the Northern Kingdom is going through right now with that whole alligator Alcatraz, right? They think it's funny, it's amusing, but okay, your time is coming, man. So enjoy it, But Lord willing, I pray this was edifying. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the hopeful elect. And DTA, your Bible Ball, Kwame Yasharallah. Until next time, Shalom.